I don't want to get into internecine cable battles. I know you have an empire to run, but there had been talk in the media, Mr. Murdoch, that you were personally involved in this growing tension between Fox and, more to the point, NBC, even with GE Chairman Jeff Immelt. Was there any truth to that? Was there any sort of like, look, this has gotten out of control?
No, I don't think so. I think that it is out of control. They started it, and we've had bitter personal attacks on some of our people to try and destroy our credibility as a network. Thankfully, the public is not interested. They're not watching that, and they're still very loyal to us. But it's only natural that the people concerned who are personally attacked, and their children personally attacked, should fight back.
Okay.
And I support them. I support my people completely.
All right. Did any of those involve conversations with Jeff Immelt, Mr. Murdoch?
No.
Okay. Could I ask you a little bit about the landscape right now? I mean, Jeff Zucker, who runs all things NBC, very dismissive of this business network not too long ago in an interview with Charlie Rose. What did you make of that?
I just think he's a, you know, he's a great competitor, and he's a rough one, and that's fair enough if he wants to run us down. There's plenty of things we can say about them. They're running fourth in the network scales where they used to be #1. Their stations are doing very badly. I can say all sorts of things about them. They have a lot more problems than we do.
All right. So when he's criticizing the business network or criticizing your audience at a time, particularly with the Fox general audience has grown, #1 in total audience, #1 in the crucial young demographic, you just sort of let it go by the wayside.
Yeah, and Fox Business is going to follow in that path, absolutely. We just have to wait on cable people, pressure them, and get greater distribution so we can get to 60, 70 million homes, and then we'll really pour the heat on. And I'm sure you've got lots of plans you're waiting for, but you don't want to show your hand now.
No.
To the opposition.
I would have to kill them first. Is it your sense in this political environment, Ms. Murdoch, I don't want to dabble too much into his politics per se, but that if a Democrat gets elected and we embolden Democratic majorities in the House and the Senate, that for media conglomerates in general could be tough sledding? Are you worried about that?
Well, not really, because, you know, with the internet and everything, I mean, look, there's some very old-fashioned thinking going on about people having too many things, television, newspapers, or whatever. The fact is that they're all less than they were before in their power and in their reach, because there's so much else happening with the public. The public has more choice of news, of views, of entertainment than it's ever had. And so it doesn't really hold up.
Okay, back to the Wall Street Journal very quickly. I'll let you go. I know you got a lot of plans there tonight. Many are noticing, I'm noticing, the Wall Street Journal features a lot more political stories on the front page. They're often lead items. Many say that's a reflection of your preference for a change in direction at the Journal. What do you make of that?
Well, we want to improve the whole Journal. But one fundamental change is that the first section is already expanded, and we're going to make the story sharper, and we're going to make it more general and interesting. We'll go beyond being just a financial paper in the front half. The financial sections also have to be expanded and improved. We want to work over the whole thing. We feel it has been a completely undernourished, unmanaged business from 20, 30 years.
All right, Mr.
And we got lots of hopes for it.
Okay, Mr. Murdoch, thank you. Very good seeing you, and enjoy your time out there.
Thank you, Neil.
All right, Rupert Murdoch, the man who runs News Corporation.
That's ahead, but first time for Countdown's Worst Persons in the World. Our #2 story, the bronze, Gretchen Carlson, the former Miss America, now a fixed news. Some on the far right are subtle, some are evil, but most like this one are dumb as a freaking post. Scott McClellan, she said, better not have any skeletons in his closet. I hope he didn't do anything that he doesn't want the world to know about, because we all have, and all of his secrets are going to be coming out. No, jeez, you make the threat before the guy writes the book, not after he writes the book. Actually, if Gretchen Carlson is in charge of the blowback on Scott McClellan, he's home free. Or if it's the equally witless runner-up, radio yacker Mike Gallagher. Gallagher writes this: I often wonder if people like Scott McClellan ever stop and think about the pain and grief their money-grubbing antics cause the families of the brave men and women who are serving their country overseas. After all, if one accepts the premise that President Bush erred in going to war, then the mission of the United States military is absolutely in vain. The mission in Iraq? Yes, that's the point. The mission in Iraq that the Gallaghers of this world and the McClellans jammed down the throats of this country, and the 4,100 dead American soldiers whose blood is still on the hands of people like Gallagher, has been absolutely in vain. The soldiers are brave and patriotic and loyal. The Mike Gallaghers are the money-grubbing cowards. And our winner, 2 in a row for K. Rupert Murdoch, the Australian Montgomery Burns, explaining his ironically named News Corp's personal attacks and violations of all journalistic ethics on executives of GE and NBC, including making up of stories about aspects of the company being sold. Quote, they started it. We've had bitter personal attacks on some of our people that try to destroy our credibility as a network. Arr. But it is only natural that the people concerned who are personally attacked, arr, and their children personally attacked should fight back. And arr, I support them. I support my people completely. Firstly, your network has no credibility. Secondly, nobody here attacked anybody's children. Lastly, Murdoch, pressed by his flunky Neil Cavuto about the threatening conversations that Murdoch and Roger Ailes had with GE and NBC executives. Did any of those involve conversations with Jeff Immelt, Mr. Murdoch? Murdoch answered, no. And that, Mr. Murdoch, as you know, is a bald-faced lie. Rupert Murdoch, today's worst person in the world.